Yeah, just before we start, today's a pretty special day here. It's a national holiday, and I just want to. I don't know if there's any veterans here in the audience, but I'd like to say thank you for your service and everything you do. It's. I think everybody's kind of touched. I'm personally touched. My son-in-law, he was there, and my father-in-law was also there, and my wife's uncle and cousin, and so I kind of hung around with a lot of veterans for a few years there, and I know what they've done for the country, but also for the families who when they're away, what they do and all that. So I know it's a special day. So I just want to say thank you to them and what they mean to not just me, but to the team. And as I said, I want the team to say thank you for everything that they've done for us. So for us to be where we are today.
Yeah, no, that's good thoughts, and thank you. Yeah. Okay, everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started. So welcome to the Coach Harry Show. Kendall, Grayson, Coach Harry, and Dysen Skinner joins us tonight. Glad to have him.
Thanks, everybody.
Another big applause for the player.
Another one.
Coach
works.
just gets like this, but the player gets a big attention.
Every time, never fails.
Ever fails.
Dysen, welcome back again this season. Glad to have you. We've got to see you now in a few games the last few weekends, and just real quickly here, what's it like to be back and get going again?
Yes, thank you. It's good to be back. It's always good to come back to a familiar place, play with some familiar players, and have some friends on the team and be back. Great spot like this.
And Coach, glad to have him back, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, he came here last year and showed us what he's about, and not just on the ice, but off the ice as a person. And this year there, I kind of did really pencil him in to be here, and unfortunately things didn't work out where he was going. And as I said, fortunate for us, but it's great to have him here. And as I said, not just on the ice. If you watch him on the ice, the way he plays, he's a great player. But also in the dressing room, his demeanor and the way he goes about things. People don't understand that a lot of times it's how you act as a pro, and he acts like a pro, and if players watch what he does, they'll learn a lot of things about it to how to be a professional.
Glad to be here at Girls again. Like to thank them for having us. Like to thank each and every one of you for showing up and being here as well. Coach, we'll get into the games in our next segment. We'll start with the Friday night game, but just real quickly, we had the split series here against Columbus this past weekend. You're going to have 2 games on the road, the 1 game on the road Friday and then back home on Saturday of this weekend, but the 2 games against Blue Ridge that will follow. But just real quickly, what do you think about the 2 games against Columbus?
Well, there was a lot of great things. I think, we talked about taking baby steps. Again, it's a different year, but, everybody thinks we can turn it around, or we struggled to get things really rolling. And but the last 3 games, the game against Athens, the 2 games against Columbus, I saw a lot of positives. There were some negatives, but I saw a lot of positives. And I think Friday or Saturday night, we kind of put the 60 minutes together. I kind of told the guys there a couple of times, and I think I mentioned in the last coaches show that if I could find a 50-minute league, we'd probably be in first place right now. But unfortunately, we have to play 60 minutes, and that's what we haven't been doing. So, and then also, the mistakes that we were making, you can't make at this level, and I think guys have learned. And I love practice. I thought, even Monday we had an optional, and I had about 12, 13 guys on the ice. So a lot of positive signs are coming along. As I said, is it where I want to be? I know Dysen is not where he wants to be, where the team wants to be, but the ship's I think is turned in the right direction, and we're going. As I said, we're starting to take off.
And so that'll do it for our opening segment. Just like to tell everyone hello and introduce our guest and get to those games. So we're going to take a break. On the other side, we'll talk about that Friday night game in more depth. Thanks.
When you're craving that slow smoke flavor done right here in Winston-Salem, there's only one place to go, Honky Tonk Smokehouse. From tendered pulled pork and fall-off-the-bone ribs to fresh house-made sides, Honky Tonk has it all. Not a meat lover? They've got delicious vegan options too. And when it's time to party, let Honky Tonk Smokehouse handle the catering and event planning. They'll bring the flavor to you. Stop by 145 Jonestown Road and taste why the locals here can't get enough. Honky Tonk Smokehouse.
What are you doing, bub?
Just fixing my chair.
you should call Contract Business Solutions.
Good idea. I'll give them a call.
Proudly serving the Piedmont Triad area for over 17 years, Contract Business Solutions partners with leading manufacturers to create innovative, budget-friendly workspaces. From design and layout to delivery and installation, explore our capabilities at cbsworkspaces.com. Looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate around Winston-Salem and the Triad? Meet Jennifer Sapp, your trusted local realtor. With nearly 30 years of deep experience, Jennifer specializes in everything from historic homes and remodels to investment properties, college town housing, and short sales. She's known for honesty, integrity, and making the process as stress-free as possible. Ready to make your move? Call 336-782-3148 or visit jensapprealty.com today.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Coach Harry Show. Kendall, Grayson, Coach Harry, and goaltender Dysen Skinner with us this week. Coach, we'll go to the Friday night game, get some applause first, but we'll go to the Friday night game and jump into the games that we just saw this past weekend against the River Dragons. We've been seeing some different opponents this season, and finally time to play Columbus. Columbus had not played a home game, and in fact, they will not play one until this week, so they've been on the road. And then obviously, they come out and get out to a pretty good start on Friday night, but I think some of the things that you just mentioned that, you can certainly clean up. They get those 2 power play goals, and I thought that really got them moving along in Friday's game to start.
Yeah, the Columbus, they got a good team. They've got a couple new guys compared to what they have had in the past couple years, but they're still a veteran team. They've picked up some veterans from other teams, and the games didn't surprise me when they came in here. I knew how they were going to play, and again, I wasn't really worried about how they were going to play. We had to worry about how we were going to play and how we were going to respond from the week before there and things like that. So I really liked the weekend. As I said, we didn't start. Excuse me. Friday night wasn't. I guess maybe a little uptight after the first period there. The coach was, I guess, and went in. We had a little heart-to-heart talk after the first period, but we just kept doing the same things. And someone said we stretch in the middle of the ice during the week, and Whitey came actually up with the thing. You do the same things and expect different results. It's called insanity, and that's what we were kind of really doing. We'd give teams 2 goals or 3 goals, or we get penalties that we probably shouldn't have got in certain times, and especially in the first 10 minutes of the hockey game. And the best thing about it was, after that, I thought the second and third periods we were really, really good. And as I said, then Saturday night we kind of turned the ship around here a little bit.
And so that's where I was headed next. That good turnaround there in the second period. You've got a couple of goals, Roman Kramer, and then Liam Blomqvist, who was brand new in the lineup, added him Friday morning, and so that was a great way to get his career going. But that must have been good to see. Obviously you don't take the lead there, but you cut into it, and then I think just took all the momentum, went in the third period, had a really good push in the third. But just talk about kind of the response after falling behind there in the first, and then getting the game going there for the second and third.
Well, we've mentioned it a couple times where you just can't keep giving good teams, and every team in this league is a good team now. There's no teams like last year. There, we played Danville, and unfortunately, it was a kind of a not a great weekend, I said, for hockey. But so every game this year is going to be a tough game. So there's none of those games, and you can't give good teams leads like that because they know how to hold on to them, and they know how not to give other teams momentum. And I thought we did a great job in the second and third by taking that momentum back. But again, the hill was just too hard to climb, and we got to a point where we just couldn't get over the hill.
And Dysen, you were in the goal there, so I know as a netminder that's got to be tough to fall from behind, but must have been very nice to see your teammates play a little bit better in front of you, and obviously he certainly had a chance to win that hockey game.
Yeah, it was definitely all week we were talking about how big of a battle it was going to be. Every time they come in, the guys in the room were talking about how big of a weekend it was, and we got to be ready. And we didn't start the game obviously like we wanted to, and then after that first period, some kind words from coach in the room, and we turned it around and we played much better hockey the second and third. It's just unfortunate we couldn't, like you said, climb that hill.
And Coach, you mentioned some of the steps that I think you started to take that you could see there in Athens, and then certainly on Friday night. We'll get to the second game and the Saturday night game in our next segment. But I myself walked away from that game on Friday. Obviously, you never want to lose, and it's tough. But I thought some signs were shown. You have that really good comeback. You get one there in the final minute with the extra tacker. Just talk about that and just the signs you were able to take away from that Friday game that probably gave you a lot more confidence going into Saturday.
Well, yeah, you know, we were right there, and then we kind of let them off the hook there. But you know, we didn't quit. And again, I've mentioned that the effort has been there all year long. But sometimes we work too hard, or we try to do too much. One of the things I've kind of stressed is do your own job. You know, this guy here doesn't have to. You know. He doesn't have to go out and play defense either, you know, or I don't have a defenseman that has to go and score 6 goals. And, you know, just if everybody does their own job, we're in better shape. And I think sometimes we all try to, when things aren't going the way you want them to go, you do too much. And as I said, sometimes you have to sit back and just do your own job. And I think, you know, we're starting to learn that that's what we need. And the one thing that I really liked about the weekend, as I said, we're starting to get contributions from everybody, and I see the defense kind of settling in a little bit. And do we have to, as I said, I won't sugarcoat it, we have to be better on a consistent basis. And, you know, if we get there and do those things, then we'll be in good shape.
And Dysen, for you, you know, can you just talk about, you know, playing in front of the home crowd again, being back on home ice, and you know, I know you had a couple of games last season, but here you are again. I know the fans are glad to have you, and anytime that we go in there and play a game, it's pretty special, and that as a netminder, that's got to be nice to play in front of.
It really is. It's a fun atmosphere to play, and there's a lot of you know, history and character for sure in that building. It's, you know, you're kind of packed in there, and you feel everybody on top of you. You feel everybody, you know, and you hear them, and it's just really a special time every time you get to play at home.
And so, Coach, before we go to the second game, any more thoughts on the first one there?
Well, you know, you have to gain momentum. We're, you know, the first 5 or 6 games we didn't have any momentum. We played well at certain times, but we didn't have any momentum. So I think that after the first game on Friday night, I saw us starting to take some momentum, starting to get things rolling here a little bit better. I could see the energy on the bench was better. It wasn't where I wanted to be, but it's starting to come. It's kind of funny because we practiced today, and I heard more guys chirping at each other and yelling at each other and doing things like that. And sometimes you just like to say, you know, be quiet, but I don't want them to be, because we don't talk on the ice, and we don't make the game make it easy. So I really see that, you know, we're starting to maybe feel comfortable with each other too. As I said, a lot of new guys, a lot of guys have only played a few games. They haven't played a lot pro hockey, and then also, you know, when you go to a different team, you know, even the NHL, you look at a guy like Steven Stamkos, probably going to go to the Hockey Hall of Fame. He's struggling right now in Nashville because it's a new team, it's a new system. Things are different, and when they are. A lot of guys take a long time to really get a good feel for it. It's not as easy just because you play hockey, go to one team, and it's just going to click. It takes time sometimes. So I see it starting to roll, and as I said, I see the guys now, the things that I've talked about before, where, you know, the things that I watch when other players aren't watching, not even just on the bench, or not even like maybe in the dressing room, or, you know, who's driving with who or whatever, and those things now I see that it's starting to gel a little bit. Again, not where we want it to be, but it's starting to come.
So that was game 1. We'll take a break and come back and recap the win on Saturday night. Thanks.
2 pillows, endless possibilities. At Cotton and Crate, we make it easy to refresh your home season after season. Our 18 by 18 and 12 by 20 pillow sizes pair perfectly with our seasonal collections of interchangeable covers, so you can refresh your style anytime without cluttering up your closet. We're proud to team up with the Twin City Thunderbirds, celebrating hometown spirit and the comfort of home on and off the ice. Thunderbirds fans, enjoy $5 off your order at cottonandcrate.com with the code TBIRDS5OFF. Cotton and Crate, 2 pillows, endless possibilities.
Quinn Services has been serving North Carolina for over 50 years, ensuring the safety and comfort of our customers' homes. We take pride in bringing together the best electricians, plumbers, and heating and cooling technicians to bring convenience and unbeatable value to our customers. Life can be hectic. What better way to simplify than to have one company you trust to take care of all of your home's repair needs? Since 1972, integrity and customer satisfaction have been at the heart of everything we do. We are proud to have built a name our neighbors trust, one that provides peace of mind and a service that can be relied on, today, tomorrow, and for years to come. Thank you for trusting Gwyn Services with your home. We are proud to stand behind the work we do every single day to serve our friends and neighbors here in North Carolina. We are Gwyn Services. One call does it all.
Being your best is hard. You gotta take care of yourself. You got your husband.
Let's put in a pool. For the kids.
For the kids.
Forget the car. How about a motorcycle?
And if you own a business?
We need servers from, like, this century.
Yeah.
At a Legacy Federal Credit Union, we're committed to helping you be your best you. Whether it's with an unbeatable car loan rate, home equity line of credit, or small business help.
Who's the best?
Visit alegacy.org for our best rates.
And hello and welcome back to the Coach Harry Show.
I got an applause. I like that.
That's you. That one's for you.
That was.
So, Coach, we talked about the Friday game and the loss, but you're able to turn it around and get a nice win on home ice on Saturday. But unfortunately, a similar start to the game in that Columbus gets a power play goal and gets on the board about 5 minutes in. But I think a big difference was the specialty teams there in night two that helped you turn things around. You get power play goals back-to-back after that, and you take a 2-1 lead. And I think for you, it must have been just a much different feeling and a much different opening period of that game.
Well, we had a good meeting, I thought, before the game, and we talked about, again, not doing the same things and changing your mentality and changing warm-up a little bit. It's the will to prepare to win. It's not just the will to win. It's the will to prepare to win. And I think some guys, they're there early, but are they preparing enough to do the job? And if what you're doing isn't getting you as prepared, and that our starts weren't good, so we had to change things up. And as I said, I think the meeting, what I said is, like, even myself, I change something up. I changed the way I went to the rink that day. I told everybody I had a baseball cap on. I don't wear them very much. I even had it on backwards, for God's sakes. And I won't tell you what the warden said about it, but that's another story. But no, you have to change something. And as I said, in warm up, some guys like to do this or do that. Well, change it up. Like get yourself better prepared. And what I really liked about it, when they scored that goal, and I didn't see any panic on the bench. I didn't see. The guys were like, okay, let's get going. That's nothing, and so I didn't see the letdown, I guess, that we've seen probably in the couple games before that, where all of a sudden, oh boy, there's another one coming. So I really like the way that we started. I like the way that the demeanor after the goal that they scored, and as I said, I thought we responded very well with it.
And so you get those power play goals. I know that's something that we had talked about in previous weeks, that power play may be a little bit of a slow start, and all of a sudden it's really what you are riding behind to give you that lead there in the first period. Well,
and those things take time too. As I said, we've had a mixture of players who have played on each power play unit, and we stacked it one time. We didn't stack it. We split them up again, and so we just hadn't got a real good feel for it. I thought we had a lot of good chances, and again. The lady luck wasn't on our side, and as I said, we were getting chances and not scoring, and those things are defeating too. So I thought Saturday night things just kind of came together, and the guys kind of relaxed a little bit and played their game. And as I said, with the talent that we have up front, you expect it's going to click sometime. And as I said, the Saturday night was a good night.
And so 19 shots on goal there in the first period. You give up a power play goal there early in the second period, but once again you see a response with your team in that second period. Michael Mania scores for the first time this season, and Liam Blomquist had scored the previous night. And we can just kind of stop right there because Mania gets another one in that game. But I think that was good for those two players to get on the board. Blomquist with his first game with you guys there on Friday, but then Michael Mania that's been there's been signs, obviously you can see on the ice, you knew that was coming. But then he's able to give you two there on Saturday night, and I thought just a really good weekend for both those players.
Well, the 3 years, 2.5 years, 2 years, just over 2 years I've been here. Obviously, we have Gus and Whitey and the two Czechs and Kramer and that, and we rely on those guys to give us points a lot, but you know what? It's when Boots and Nate and other guys are, as you say, like Mania now, and even Hippo scored one in the empty net for us and has given us good minutes. So it's you have to have secondary scoring. We get into the playoffs. It's not just a lot of times that first line is is taken away because the other team is really watching them, and same as us on the other side, we're watching their first line and taking them away hopefully. So you need the secondary scoring, and especially during the long season. Some nights it's just not going in, and it doesn't matter how many chances we get. We showed that with our, the one line there for a couple games there. We had 100 chances and couldn't score. So it's always great to get that secondary scoring, and it takes the pressure off of everybody. It's even nice to see a defenseman jump in every once in a while, get a couple points or get a couple assists, and it helps balance things out, and everybody just kind of relaxes a little bit.
And Dyson, when you're not playing, you're sitting there on the bench. What's it like to just, are you one that likes to talk with your teammates? Are you kind of more relaxed? Like, obviously you have to contribute. You're not playing obviously that night, but
right.
There's got to be some contributions you're making. I'm just wondering, are you very talkative, or how does that go when you're not in the net?
Well, I feel like I'm talkative even on the ice.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm talking, trying to talk to my teammates, tell them what I'm seeing, tell them what I'm not seeing. Look at this, whatever it may be. But especially when I'm not playing, I try to pull guys over that aren't, on the ice currently and tell them to watch what their D are doing or watch what their forwards are doing or try this instead of that, whatever it might be, just anything I can really to help the team out.
And sometimes, I ask him and other players too. When you're coaching and you're trying to teach and you're trying to change lines, and we've had a couple of times this year where I've mixed and matched, and it's not like you just say next line go or the next line goes. And you miss things, especially when you want to talk to people when they come off the ice and they, oh geez, what happened? And I rely on him, 40 and the older guys to know. And as I said, the one thing about goalies, they got a great perspective. Either they're on the bench watching or they're on the ice for the full 60 minutes. And so they probably get a more perspective of the game. They're closer than anybody, so they see a lot of things, and they see maybe even up close and personal of how players are or how they're feeling or they're nervous or whatever. So his insight is a great attribute that I have. And as I said, I talk to them, the goalies, quite a bit about just different things like that and what they can contribute, not just when they're in the goal, but when they're out of the goal.
When you're warming up in a game that that you're not playing, is your warm-up any different, or you just try to stay in the same routine regardless of what that night's going to hold for you?
I try to stick to that same routine. It's a little bit different. I mean, it's, not as much pressure. It's going to be a little bit different, but you always try and, prepare the same way, do the same things. It just comes down to just a little bit less pressure is all.
And you never know when you're going to go in.
Right.
And that's the thing that you've always got to be prepared. Like I've coached over the years where the goalie in the first minute he does a stretch and then pulls his groin, and then so all of a sudden a minute into the game you're thrown in or even like. Sometimes it's in the third period, and maybe somebody ran into him or something like that. So now you've sat for 2.5 periods, and now all of a sudden you have to jump in. So it's not a fun job. It's like a reliever. You never know when you're going to go in, but all of a sudden it's like, okay, boy, you better hurry up. So you've got to be prepared, and you got to have a different attitude. I don't know what it's like, to be honest with you. I give those guys a lot of credit because you have to be in a different mindset to sit there and then all of a sudden jump in and play.
And we saw that happen with Columbus as both their goaltenders played, and that's what that was a great point because that's where I was headed. But before we go too far through the game, I think one of the things that the fans will certainly look back on is that the fight and the scrum and their goaltender was involved and all that happened. A 1-game suspension for Jacob Schnapp. It'll be a 2-game suspension for Columbus's goaltender. But what did you think of all of that? And for me, I know that was a big moment in the game, and you're able to win. We'll get to the third period and all that later. But early in the game, what you think about that?
I loved it. Yeah. I mean that's we need that from him. He can be a big part of our hockey team, and he is a big part of our hockey team. But when he plays like that and shows that physical attribute, I guess, of his game, it makes his game even better. And I think he gets excited. And I actually watched the tape today, and the guy just went in and just knocked Mikey down. Mikey didn't even know the guy was coming, and Schnappy jumped in there, and I loved it. And he came into my office today and said, kind of like felt bad, and I said, no, I don't feel bad. What you did was what we needed. And I want you to do. So I was really pleased at it. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know, watching it, and I hate to say the the guys in the stripes were maybe wrong, but I don't know if he really deserved a game misconduct. You know, that guy knocked him down, and Mikey, or he went to his aid there, and if that guy, I look at that, something like that, if you're going to hit a guy like that after the whistle, you better be prepared to fight. I kind of disagreed with it, like Schnappy getting that, but again, that's what happens. And I would have given the goalie, who to me was, you know, he came right out, and there was other 4 guys standing around. I would have given him more. So, but no, that was a big play for us. And as I said, you know, if he has to do that again, then as I said, when those things happened, we love him to step up.
Dyson, have you ever been involved in anything like that in your career?
Not yet. I think eventually.
That's the right answer.
No, I love watching Schnapp get into that because that's just kind of the way he plays. He's got that edge with him, and teams need that. We need that. We love it. We thrive off of that, and seeing him do that really gives us all energy.
So Coach, you end up, you know, Pastuca scores a big goal there. You're able to go up, and then it's, you know, it's 4-2. They come back and make it, or it's 5-2. Then they come back and make it 5-3. But I thought that, you know, you're really good there in the third period, and that must have been nice to you know, experience what you saw your players go through early in that game, continue to build, and then sort of, you know, when it going away there in the third period.
Yeah, I thought we from top to bottom we did a good job, and you know we did what we had to do, and they, as I said, they got a good hockey team, so I was pleased. You know, and as I said, I don't know if there's any bad teams in our league right now. So but again, when you beat a good hockey team the way we beat them on Saturday, I think we have to have a lot of confidence in ourselves right now, and do we have a ways to go? No question, but we have to show or feel pretty confident about, you know, we can do the job, and as I said, I think guys are starting to get comfortable. You know, you get a guy like Manny who scores 2 goals, Boot scored two goals, and if he's ever on again, he'll describe those again for us. But no, as I said, we're starting to get a feel for it, and sometimes it just takes a little longer. But no, the way we finished off and the way the guys, I think, felt after the game, I think they felt pretty good. And you know, talking to them the last couple of days here, I see some confidence in us. I see even at practice today, I thought it was a whole different feel for it, I guess, at practice, and not, as I said, that's what I look at. Today, someone asked me how practice was, and I said I thought the feel was great, and they were like, the feel, it was just something like I could feel it. It was different, and that's what you got to look at, and that's how you start building stuff.
All right, so that's the recap of the weekend. We'll take some fan questions coming up next. Thanks for joining us on the Coach Harry Show.
I want to stop losing sleep over this. I want to know that surgery is the right decision. I want to protect what I've built. I want a plan designed just for me. I want to know that I'm in excellent hands. I want the latest and greatest. I want to continue to grow, no matter what life throws my way.
For the best surgical care, you want Novant. Novant Health. Best surgeons, amazing nurses, remarkable care.
Maple Chase Golf and Country Club offers the best in recreational amenities in the Triad. Come enjoy a meal at the Pine Brook Bar and Grill, relax by our pool and cabana, and gear up at the Pro Shop while sharpening your skills on our 9,000 square foot putting green, and play around on our 18-hole Ellis Maples Design Championship Golf Course. You can find out more at maplechasecc.com. That's maplechasecc.com.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Coach Harry Show. Thank you.
I started something.
You did. That's it. Coach Harry, Kendall, and Dysen Skinner with us here tonight. First of all, I'd like to wish Angie a happy birthday. Hello. Thank you for that. So these are going to bounce around. Some will be for Dyson, Coach, myself. We'll bounce around and go through these, but we'll cover them all. So, Dyson, obviously a lot of questions for you. Did you always want to be a goalie, or did someone push you, a coach, a parent? You know, how did you get into being a goaltender?
My parents did not want me to be a goalie. No, they were for years. They said no, absolutely not. And then one of the youth tournaments we went, and there was a goalie pads in the raffle, and I was like, Dad, I need these. I want them. And he puts in one ticket. And he said, if I win it, you can be a goalie, and if I don't, never want to hear about it again. And here we are.
Great story. it's, you know, it's kind of funny because a lot of kids when they grow up, and even my son, and, you know, even the goalie's got the big, you know, the white nice pads and the big equipment, and a lot of kids are like, oh geez, I want to play goal. And as I said, I think there's a lot of parents like Dyson's parents are like, no, okay, we were going out, like, you know, they're shooting pucks at you. You're like, that's not fun sometimes.
We have a question about, you know, how do you prepare for a game? What is your pregame meal if you have one? And that's for all three of us. I personally don't have one. I just try to make sure that I do eat something a little bit closer to when I'm going to leave and head to the game. But other than that, I'm not too picky. Any routines or anything you guys like?
Lately, I've just been trying to break every routine I've had up, start from scratch. Pasta is my go-to pregame meal, any kind of pasta, really.
You know, since I started coaching, it depends on who's in town with me. If I'm by myself, it's whatever I can get out of the fridge, I guess. If my daughter and my grandson are here, it's called game day. We always go to Chick-fil-A. So since I've been coaching, it kind of mixes and matches. If there's something in the fridge that I'm going to be able to eat that I don't have to cook, I'll do it. So when I played, it was very specific about pasta and chicken and things like that. Or if I had something and we won, I stuck to it for a long time. You know, even mac and cheese or whatever. So whatever, I'm superstitious now, but as I said, it's more or less I don't like to cook, so whatever's there.
Dyson, this is for you. How do you decide, you know, what type of emotion you're gonna make towards a puck? Basically, you know, how are you going to save a shot when you see it? You know, that's a split-second decision you have to make, and kind of what's running through your mind when you're trying to read a shot off a stick and off a deflection and all those things that happen.
Yeah, when I'm you know, at my best, I'm not thinking. Like, there's nothing going through my head. It's just kind of like a natural movement. Like, I see it, and you know, in practices in my career, I've stopped hundreds of thousands of shots. I'm just gonna do what my body and trust my body and allow my body to do it.
I think the only time he guesses is when we play showdown.
When you're shooting.
And coach is shooting, because he has no idea where it's going, so he just guesses.
Next question, you know, what does it mean to you to see fans at away games? We talk about the home games, but always it seems like you go on the road and you'll see someone you know there. So what's it like to see fans, you know, when you're not at home on the road?
Yeah, it's great to see support like that. I mean, especially weeks coming up like here at Whitfield, I hope we see a lot. It's just always great to see, you know, that Thunderbird and our logo and our fans everywhere we go. It's just so much support, and we thank you guys so much for that.
Well, it's a compliment to the people, and it's also a compliment to the guys. People enjoy coming to watch them play, and as I said, they really enjoy it. And as I said, we tip our hat. We got great fans and great support, and they like to travel, and it's nice to go see other buildings. But I know they come to support us, and it's really it's a lot of. It shows a lot of emotion to us, and it makes us feel pretty good. So as Dyson said, it's a great feeling, and we really appreciate it.
Dyson, do you have a favorite save so far in your career? Could be here, could be elsewhere.
Oh, geez.
Anything stand out? Maybe it wasn't flashy. Maybe it was a situational save.
I feel like just my favorite ones are just the ones that I'm in good position for. They might look easy, but they're definitely not. And those are ones that are at the top of my list for sure. That they're kind of under the radar where people might think, oh, that's an easy one, but it's not quite as easy as it looks, you know. Those are my favorite ones.
Saturday's game, we had a question about a goal that I guess the fans thought that we had scored there in the first period. I think we had actually a couple of false alarms this weekend, had some crossbars, some posts. Friday night, something I should have mentioned, you know, when we were talking about Friday night's game, I don't know how many posts you guys hit Friday night, but it seemed like you were all over the place. So that was something we were talking about during the break, but a couple of close calls, and they had the one in the first period there Saturday.
The goalkeeper or the goal judge there, I think he had the light going a couple of times there, and I know it didn't go in, but the one we're talking about, I think, was Yuri there. I think it hit the crossbar, but we knew it wasn't in. But it looked, as I said, that puck's going, you know, really quickly. And as I said, there's a lot of times you see it and you think it's in, or you don't, or you hope it's in, I guess. But you can't really see it. And as I said, it goes so fast that that's why sometimes the replay is nice to see.
Dyson, we talked about pregame meals and superstitions along that line. Do you have any superstitions? Doesn't have to be meal related, but anything that you have to do on a game day, have to wear. Tell us about that.
No, like I said, I try not to implement that into my routine. Like, if I feel like I am kind of getting that way, I'll try and intentionally break it up. Just a nap and a walk, really. All I need is a good nap and a good walk, and I'm ready to go.
Next question: how old were you when you first started playing hockey?
Well, I was 3. The age was 4, but my dad lied and got me in a year early.
Good
So
for him.
3,
That's
yeah.
good. And then the next question we have here: who is your best friend on the team?
Best friend on the team. Schnapp and I are the closest, probably, but Cade and I go back the furthest. Cade Hanley and I go back the furthest. Many of you might not know this, but we grew up both in Montana, not much of a hockey hotbed, and we played together on a U10, U12, U14 teams. We played together 5-6 years growing up, and coming back full circle like this, being on the same team as him after the paths that we both went on is pretty special. And he's sitting next to that guy in the locker room, was roommates with him on the road, and it's pretty cool to just talk to him and reminisce a little bit about times we were growing up and reconnect with him.
It's pretty. We talk about it's such a big world, but the hockey world is so small, and you keep running into people, and I just talked to a guy today, and he's coming in town on Thursday. So it's such a big world, but as I said, in the hockey world, when you reconnect with people like that and have some memories, and as I said, he played together for a long time, so it's pretty cool.
Dysen, when you played in college, were there any teammates of yours or players that you played against that ended up going on and playing in the FPHL and are in this league now?
Yeah, if you guys remember Gordon Wallen from last year, I was teammates with him. Yeah, 4 years at school. He was a great guy. I miss that guy a lot. But he was one of them. There's a few kicking around as well in the SPHL and the ECHL as well.
Coach, this is for you. Specialty teams, we talked about them, always so important. What is working right now for you on both the power play and the penalty kill? What are some things that you like and hopefully you'll continue to see?
Well, the power play, I see it starting to click. We've had a lot of chances. We just haven't scored on them. And that's you worry about not getting the chances. The type of players that we have when they're skilled like that, they always like to have the perfect play. And sometimes, especially when I had the 3 checks together, like I didn't know if they could shoot the puck, but because they like to make that pass. But as I said, we were getting our chances, we just weren't scoring. So the power play, I knew it was going to start to get going and click like that. The PK right now, if anything can go wrong on the PK right now, it is, and we've made some mistakes there. We got to be better. But like the other night there, Snoppy blocked a couple shots, and then I think he, the first one there went off him and went through Boris's pads, and those are things that when things aren't going the way you want them to, those things happen. And other things I watched on the PK there, we're trying so hard, we're spreading ourselves out, and we don't do that. We're making little mistakes that other teams are capitalizing on, and everybody's got a pretty good power play in this league. So if you don't stick to what you're trying to do, and the one goal, I know my defenseman had his back to the guy, and instead of fronting him, and just little stuff like that that's throwing us off. I don't see it like it's a major issue. Again, we're making the mistakes that we shouldn't make. As I said, running out to the blue line, and now we're odd man down low, and just a few things like that. And as I said, for the most part, we've been pretty good. And then like this weekend here, we weren't very good. So we got to be better and a little more disciplined.
And Dysen, when the penalty kill's out there, you're obviously more busy than when the power play's out there. And so we've got a question about, what do you think about when the action is down there on the other end? Obviously, that means your team is playing well. And, it probably can get lonely at times, I'd imagine, if there's not a lot of shots coming your way, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But what are you kind of thinking about when you see everything else all the way down the rink and it's not necessarily right out in front of you?
Yeah, it's usually a good sign when your goalie's a little lonely, But I don't know. Power plays are nice, a little bit of a breather. I really like the PK though. It's just kind of a fun little, it's more not pressure, but it's more fun. I like it. I like the competition there. But yeah, the power play when the other team's when we're clicking on that. It's fun to watch them snap around down there and make something happen on the other end.
I always even when I played, it was always something about penalty killing. It's the other team there. They got usually I guess, best players they want out there, and they should have an advantage on that. And there's nothing better than after, you kill a penalty, and it's just like, you don't say it, but, you just like to, you just want to rub it in a little bit because, you've outmaneuvered them or you've outworked them or whatever you've done. And I think it's just a pride thing sometimes, too. As I said, it's just, like, I always enjoyed, killing penalties. It was, even being an offensive defenseman, don't get me wrong, when the power play went out, I wanted to go the other way and get them that way. But something about penalty killing is just, I always say, when you're down like that, as I said, it's a great feeling when you accomplish that.
A couple of quick ones here for you, Dyson. What do you do? Let's see. We'll go to, we'll start with you here. What is your go-to warm-up song? Do you have one, or is there, does that change over time? What's your warm-up song?
I've had one song. It's an Eminem song that I've listened to for way too many years. But yeah, Eminem's probably my go-to artist for sure. Any one of them, really.
Next question: do you have any pets?
Any pets? No, not anymore. I had a cat in college. Couldn't take her with me, so not anymore.
No more.
And then another question: who don't you want to room with on the road, and why?
I love him, but Schnapp, he's not the cleanest guy. Yeah. That's all. I mean, great guy, but
messy.
Yeah.
That's what I hear.
Messy.
Coach, we'll go to you. We've got a couple questions for you. This one says, "Where are your flip-flops?"
You know what? I woke up this morning and it said it was going to be 18 degrees. It was like 25 or 26, but it felt like 18, and that's. I think I was starting to show my age maybe a little bit here. But the flip-flops, we were talking about that earlier. It's going to be 62 tomorrow in the afternoon, so the flip-flops will be back out tomorrow. And maybe the shorts, too. I actually had to go long pants and shoes today. But tomorrow there's a good chance that the flip-flops will be out. The shorts we'll have to decide in the morning, especially when usually I go to the rink pretty early. So it's, but yeah, the flip-flops will be back pretty fast.
Final question for you, Coach. What do you like to do to relax?
I just like to, if I'm at home, just sit and watch TV or, I like going to, I've met some people here and going and enjoying an adult beverage and just kind of relaxing and talking and maybe not talking about hockey. And, if I get a chance during the day, sometimes I'll go hit that little white golf ball sometimes too to relax and just get away from the game. The funny thing about it is you go away, you go play golf, and you're going to probably start talking about hockey or you're going to do that, but it's in a different atmosphere and there's not. You kind of forget about what you're thinking about all the time. And the one thing about coaching, it doesn't matter what level you do it. It's 24/7. You wake up in the middle of the night and think about something, and sometimes you go write them down because you might want to do that in practice the next day or something. So it's I love it. And again, but as I said, sometimes just to get away, I can just sit at home, watch TV, and kind of relax. And I don't like to be on the phone when I'm at home or anything like that. I'd rather be in my office. So once I go at home, I just kind of sit and relax.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for your fan questions. As always, really appreciate them. We'll step aside one last time and come back to preview next weekend. Thank you.
Flow Offer to Purchase makes it easy for you to generate an appraisal for a vehicle online in under 5 minutes. You can confidently use Flow Offer to Purchase to determine your vehicle's trade-in value or to get a real offer to sell it to us. Here at Flow, we've always had a transparent, interactive appraisal process that our customers love. We developed our Flow Offer to Purchase tool to offer you that same great experience online or through our Flow Garage app anytime, anywhere. Using Flow Offer to Purchase is simple. Either enter your license plate number or VIN, and the system will pull up basic information about your vehicle. Some vehicles have options or extras that need to be selected in order to pull an accurate value. Then just tell us about the current condition of a few things like your tires, dents and scratches, or mechanical issues. From there, a real offer on your vehicle, whether you buy from us or not, is just a click away. Just a heads up, our staff will check over your vehicle to ensure your Flow Offer to Purchase is accurate. Your satisfaction is our priority. Flow Automotive dealerships have processed tens of thousands of vehicles using Flow Offer to Purchase, which has resulted in buying many thousands of cars from customers. Try Flow Offer to Purchase for free today. You can access this tool by clicking Sell Trade on flowauto.com or your dealer site by starting the Sell Trade dialog in the center of the homepage.
Finish strong. Start here. Atrium Health Wake Forest Baptist.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Coach Harry's Show. Thanks for joining us all night long. I'd like to thank Dysen Skinner for being here as well. Yep. So Coach, let's get into the games upcoming this weekend. On the road Friday, back home on Saturday. And for the folks that are going to be at the game, which we hope to see you all there, 6:05 is the time of the start for Saturday's game. Wake Forest does have a home football game at 4:30, so we encourage you to get there early. The parking information can be found on the front page of our website right now for folks that want to know about that. But 2 games against Blue Ridge coming up, Coach, and that was an opponent that came into the building a couple weekends ago, picked up a win. It was that weekend that we had the home game, and then we went to Athens on Saturday. It's early. You've seen them one time, but obviously you know a lot better than me the history and what that team is capable of. What have you seen for them so far, and what do you think we'll see here this upcoming weekend?
Well, I don't think there's going to be any surprises. They work hard, and it's always a good game when we play them. It doesn't matter. There's something about it, as we've talked about before, with them being, when they first came in the league, the little brother down the street, and the little brother wants to beat the big brother. And I think they've learned the right now not to be really the little brother. And they've done a good job, and they've got a good hockey team. And they're going to come in here, or we're going to have to go in there and go on the road. And we like the road. I think we've played pretty well on the road. I don't think we've really changed. I think we're getting better. But it'll be a tough game, and we're going to have to be, again, ready. And as I said, so far this week, I like what we've done, what I've seen. Both practices, as I said, the optional, but just the demeanor. But we're going to have to be ready. It's going to be a hard-fought hockey game, and they're going to want to come out and play hard.
We'll look forward to coming home on Saturday, but we had the question earlier about seeing fans on the road. With Blue Ridge not very far away, I'd imagine that we'd see some of our fans on the road Friday night, so we're looking forward to that. Dyson, before we get going here, anything else you'd like to say to the fans? I know we talked about it there in the very first segment. Glad to have you back again this season. I know that they're glad to see you. We got a lot of people here that have shown up to see you. So what would you like to say to them before we end the show?
I think the biggest thing is just to say thank you. Thanks for welcoming me back and being supportive of not only me, but the whole team, all of us. Just want to say thank you very much to every single one of you.
The one thing is when things aren't going well, it's everyone's looking for the answer, and everyone's looking for that. And the one thing that I think we've got so far, and we really appreciate, is the fans have been behind us. I know the front office has been behind us, and that really helps a lot. So like as I said, when you're winning, it's nice to be on the bandwagon and go at it. But the true fans, and I see them here tonight. Things, as I said, I know it's turning around a little bit, but when things aren't going good, those are the true fans. When still stick with us, and we're very fortunate. As I said, so far in the 2 years I've been here, it's been pretty nice. But I really believe that, and give them all the fans a lot of credit. This year here, you start off a little sluggish, but they've hung in tough with us and given us great support, and it really means a lot to us. And as I said, we come out on the ice, and I think the other night there when we finally heard Sweet Carolina after the game, it was pretty nice. So hopefully we can hear that again a lot more the rest of the season. But I like to say thanks to the fans also for the support, as I said, even in the tough times.
Well, thanks everyone. Camo Night is the promotion for Saturday night's game, 6:05, the time of the puck drop. I'd like to thank Earls for having us as always. We'll be at Dave & Buster's next week. Hope to see you there. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.